Hey there, Facebook. Time for some lead-in music. We got Corby Lanker going in the background, and he is awesome. I'll turn it down just a little bit. There we go. Well, good morning. I want to give a special thank you to Logan for feedback on my Facebook Live posting last week where I had it right during Sunday football. Yeah, that was a bad idea. So go Vikings. That's why I'm wearing Vikings purple. I hope the lines don't cause too much funny lines on your screen. We're going to see how things turn out. It has been another exciting week in the world of cybersecurity. Let's break it down. First and foremost, SEC. So the SEC is a Security and Exchange Commission. These are the people that try to keep investors from stealing from each other without playing by the rules. You know, if someone knows that a company is about to have a huge earnings quarter or a terrible earnings quarter, they know how to bet for or against that stock. And if other people don't have that information, it's not a level playing field. Well, the SEC's job is to try to keep people from taking advantage of that. Yeah, we're having some problems. They got hacked. They got hacked in 2016, it turns out. And when the SEC got hacked, it wasn't their core system where people put in those filings that tell investors how a company's doing, those forward-looking statements that say what next quarter is likely to bring, what the stock valuation looks like, those things that investors really care about. They got hacked in their test system. Now, the details have not come out much other than to say it happened in 2016. It was a test system, not a production system, and that likely illegal trades were made as a result of the information these bad guys got. And what occurred to me, I am guessing that the issue came up in what the definition of a test system really is. Let's talk about the word test for a minute. When we talk about doing a test nowadays, most of the time, tests are things that are done in a controlled environment, things that are done with less risk involved. So if we're going to test a rocket, well, it tends to be done kind of like this. See, it's done on the ground. It is done so there aren't people riding on top or payload riding on top or people close by. Everyone's far away. It's strapped down to the ground over here. See, and nothing bad is going to happen even if it blows up. Yeah, that's not the kind of test that they were doing. This SEC test was like this. See, back in the good old days when we had test pilots that were running these planes and these craft and they were sitting on top of them, the risk was higher in test than it was in production because we had real loss of life potential or real payload potential, but the system was untested. Well, the SEC's test system is closer to that than it is to the tests we think of with no risk. And the reason is that this test system was used for companies to put in the sort of data that they were going to file for real soon thereafter. So before the real filing went in, they would use this test system to put in their filings to make sure it was accepted properly. The formatting was right. They hadn't, crossed 2 digits somewhere, that kind of thing. Well, this test system was a gold mine to hackers because things went in there earlier than they went into the main SEC system. This is one step down from a time machine. But I have a feeling that the people that were setting up systems to protect this SEC area used the word test in their own minds to mean less risk, less concern. We know it was easier to hack because the test system is what got hacked and the real system didn't. What does this mean to us? Well, it's just another example of someone trading with information that the common public doesn't have. It is illegal. You're not supposed to do it. People have gone to jail for it. Martha Stewart can tell you all about it. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not those 3 people at Equifax have the same fate befall them for trading on information the public didn't have. Don't know where that one's going to end up. But that's what this means. It's not something that concerns us as individuals all that much unless you're an investor. We don't know what areas that these illegal trades took place, nor if any of the money can be scraped back. It usually can't. But this is a big deal because it undermines the foundation of one of our big financial systems. If the stock market systems can't be trusted to do what they're supposed to do and people lose confidence in them, then a big part of our financial world begins to break down. I have a feeling this one's being taken very, very seriously by people with a lot of power and by people with a lot of money. It'll be interesting to see where it falls long term. Let's head over to Equifax because the hits just keep on coming. So when Equifax hired this cleanup team, Mandiant, and this PR team that we talked about a few weeks earlier, they set up a new website so you could check whether or not you were affected by this, right? It was Equifax Security 2017. Well, they didn't think about the bigger picture as to what it means when you set up a website. When an independent website is set up that is affiliated with a big company, well, if you set it up as a subsite of the parent company, it's harder for bad guys to spoof. It can still be done, but it's harder. Yeah, they didn't do that. They set it up as a standalone site. And as a standalone site, it was very easy to make other versions of it. Like instead of Equifax Security 2017, what about Security Equifax 2017? Well, a bad guy did that. But it gets even better. On Twitter, one of the people working for Equifax either transposed those two, which is a really easy thing to do. You don't have to be a dyslexic to make a mistake like that. They put in their Twitter feed, please go to Security Equifax 2017 instead of the other way around. Now, what happens if you go to that now? Depends on the system you're on. I went ahead and printed out what Google Safe Browsing does as a result of going to securityequifax2017.com right now. It brings up a huge warning, and it essentially says, please don't do this. You're making a mistake. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that we've got this in place. Depending on the kind of next generation firewall that you were using, depending on the kind of security systems you have in place, it could have been a matter of minutes that you and your team were alerted to the fact that there were these these malicious sites, these non-valid sites that were masquerading as this, because it took a little while for the word to get out. And for people that were typing their information into that site, it was another advantage as to how to get hacked. Bad news. I am surprised that Equifax hasn't died down at all. It absolutely hasn't. They're continuing to make rookie mistakes with how to handle this breach. I have a lot of people asking me, should I do a credit freeze? Should I do LifeLock? I tell you, I have mixed feelings about it. LifeLock and these other monitoring services, they are designed to do work you could do yourself, but they're supposed to look out for you and give you an alert when someone tries to take out credit in your name. And is that helpful? Well, I believe that it is, but it is not foolproof. Look, years ago, the owner of LifeLock took out national ads saying, this is my social security number, please try to hack me. Well, that's as close to literally putting a target on your back as you can. I mean, it's a national feed. Yeah, he got hacked. I think it was 13 times people were able to take out credit in his name, probably because the people issuing credit didn't follow the appropriate procedures. But that's not the point. These sorts of LifeLock services, although people are signing up in 10 times higher numbers post-breach than they were pre-breach, I don't know how much utility they really provide. I think that you can look at your own credit and see the same information that they are offering. You can also have your credit cards talk to you, talk to your smartphone, so that whenever you make a transaction or someone else does, it shows up right here. And that's a really good thing to have happen. I'm a strong proponent of it. What do we do over the long term with this? Man, we have a fundamental problem right now. As citizens of the USA, we do not have laws in place that protect us when our data is stolen. If we can prove harm as a result of that, well, then we have some protections. But it's very hard to prove harm. It's hard to prove that a breach caused a problem to you that they're responsible for. A whole lot of dominoes have to fall in place for you to be able to prove that. And that is difficult. It's really hard to do. So, what do we do as consumers? We need to recognize the fact that we in this game, we are not the consumers here. When it comes to Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, Innovis, we are the product. Okay? I had the pleasure of giving a talk about the Equifax breach in the historic grain mill here in Minneapolis a week and a half ago. And to use that analogy, we are the wheat that this company is using to try to churn out to sell to other people. Okay? We are the raw materials. We're the input. That isn't overly important if they irritate us. Now, if we were to leave in droves, if they didn't have a way of getting this data, or us as wheat, then they'd have a problem. Except we don't have any control over them getting that data. They can get it without our consent. They can get it without any business relationship. And just how much liability they have towards this is going to be an open question. Okay, there are going to be a lot of lawsuits to figure that out. But I've had some questions about what the laws really allow us at this stage of the game. I am not convinced that there's going to be a tremendous amount of liability. Now, a good friend of mine, Mark Grossman, who has been on CNBC's Closing Bell twice now to talk about the Equifax breach, we have a call set up tomorrow because I really want to pick his brain about what the laws say currently. Europe is trying to handle this. They have GDPR in play, well, going to be in place here towards the end of this year, and that actually is one of the parts of my book, talk about what that's going to be, but we'll get to that in just a moment. We need an equivalent to that here in the United States. We need to be protected from these companies that would use us as their wheat and not care if a couple of grains get broken every now and then. We can't have that. It isn't right. So what do we do about it? We need to let our representatives know. We go to www.callmycongress.com and we type in our zip code. If that's not good enough to give you a specific answer, you type in your address. If that makes you uncomfortable, type in the address of your neighbor. That's fine. It'll tell you so you can find out who your representatives are. And when you know that, you need to call them. You need to email them. You need to let them know we need protections in the United States similar to what GDPR is going to do for the European Union. We cannot be treated as wheat in this country. This is the greatest country in the world, and we deserve these protections. Okay, off my soapbox on Equifax, because boy, it's a challenging area. Should you do a credit freeze? If you are certain that you will not need credit in the near future, so you won't be buying a house, you won't be buying a car, you won't be refinancing your house, refinancing a car, getting a new credit card, getting a new cell phone. They will often check your credit when you sign up for a plan for a cell phone. If you are reasonably certain you will not be doing any of those things, then a credit freeze might make sense for you. But be careful for two reasons. One, you often don't think of these things until you are at the I'll call it the iStore or the Android store. There are lots of other choices, of course. But until you're in front of one of those stores trying to pick out your phone, you often forget. And there are 4 different companies you have to set up the credit freeze with, and you don't know which of them are going to bounce off this particular area. And that's a real problem. So we need to get these laws in place to protect us. And in the meantime, is a credit freeze right for you? I have 2 issues with it. One, I'm afraid it's going to do just as much harm as it is good. And I'm afraid it's going to keep people from getting credit when they want it, which could be a genuine drain in our economy. But the other problem is this, and it's more of a moral one. Credit freezes cost money. Okay, for you to put on a credit freeze, it costs a small amount. And for you to take it off, it costs a small amount. Now, those rules may change. It may differ from reporting company to credit reporting company. But this is us as citizens paying them to protect us from them. From them. When Equifax had the breach, they're the credit reporting agency, and now they're looking for money from us to protect us from them. Yet there's a business model that's been established like that. You want to know what it is? It's the mafia. That's the business model. I have a moral problem with that. I have a real outrage with the thought that it should cost us money as citizens to have to deal with a problem that the people trying to sell us the service created. This would be like an antivirus company spreading viruses. This is a real issue. And I hope that we can get our legislators in front of it so that we don't have people paying these companies to protect us from these companies. We need laws so that it's in these companies' financial best interest to protect us as citizens. Okay, I promised I'd quit ranting, so I'm going to quit ranting. On to bigger and better things. I am thrilled to say that the book is real. It is live. If you hop on Amazon.com right now and you search for Secure Enough or search for Bryce Austin, you will see the hard copy available. Now, I am a little irritated at the company that is printing it for me, Ingram Spark. They're a big company. A lot of people have good things, good experiences with them. When I made an order for my book launch coming up, it took them 8 days just to print it. Well, people on Amazon have ordered it, and they already have a copy, and I don't, and it's killing me inside. I'm not going to lie. I really want to see what my book looks like. If you happen to be one of the people that have ordered it, thank you. It means the world to me. Thank you for the support. I hope the book brings you the value that I wish it will. I would love to see a copy. Please send me a picture. Please put it up on Facebook. Please put it on Twitter. Hashtag Bryce A, BRYCEA. I'd love to see what it looks like. With any luck, I'm going to have 270 pounds of books at my door tomorrow or Tuesday, but I don't have them yet. So the book launch, I mentioned that. So next Sunday, October 1st, we are going to have the book go live in an ebook version and already the hardback version on Amazon. And I am thrilled to say it's going to be happening. If you want to be a part of it, if you would like to get a free copy of the ebook, if you would like to be part of the launch team, please head out to bryceaustin.readleads.com. There is a quiz out there to test your cybersecurity knowledge, and it will let you share your result on Facebook, on Google+, on Twitter. It will also give you a chance to be part of the group that is going to help get the word out about the book, to be an evangelist for it. And for those of you that have it, or those of you that will have it, it would mean the world to me if you'd hop on Amazon and leave an honest review. I'm not looking for a biased review. In cybersecurity, truth and honesty has to come first, and I want a real review, but I'm looking for those reviews. So for those of you that have it, please head out to Amazon. Please write a review on my behalf. It would mean the world to me. And for those of you that are here in Minneapolis, on October 2nd, Monday, October 2nd, the group that originally gave me a national speaking platform, Premier CIO, they are coming to town, and they are having their annual conference here in the Twin Cities. It's in Edina, Minnesota. If you are in a technology leadership role, a business leadership role, if you're a CFO, if you're a COO, you could even be head of sales for an organization. If you have a large operation beneath you that could use products from a technology standpoint, I would love, love, love to have you there. Everyone that comes gets a free copy of the book thanks to Premier CIO. And I want to thank you, Mark. Thank you, Nina. Thank you to your whole team for sponsoring the book launch. They are buying books for everyone that shows up. And it means the world to me that show that kind of support. Thank you. So to find out more about it, premiercio.com. Go to that website. Look up their conferences. It is in Edina, Minnesota, October 2nd. If you fall in one of the categories I mentioned, please go to register. It is in the upper right-hand corner of their website, and registered show up. We are going to have some great, great people there. We have got, we've got keynotes that are so good, I don't want to spoil it, if you want the honest truth. But we have an opener that is a certified speaking professional, going to be talking about leadership in sports, leadership in business, how those two go together. We have a closing keynote that has literally been dropped into war zones to try to understand intelligence and evangelism. Talk about someone to learn from. Your luncheon keynote will be talking about Equifax and lessons learned in cybersecurity, and that would be yours truly. Thank you so much for listening to this. I would love your feedback. I would love to get a conversation going with you. For those of you who are going to be watching the Vikings, go Purple. I sure hope things work out well today. Talk to you soon. You have a great Sunday. Take care.